Hello, this is a video on how to play Golf Solitaire. Now, Golf Solitaire is different from other versions of Solitaire, and so the game is set up by setting up 7 columns with 5 cards facing upwards. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 columns with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 cards in each column. The face down pile of the remaining cards is placed on the bottom left. It is used to draw cards from and put on the waste pile here. The waste pile is the face-up pile next to the stock pile. And so right now it's empty because we have not started playing the game. The objective is to move all cards from the columns onto the waste pile. You can only move the topmost card in each column at a time. So let's just flip up a card on the waste pile here. In this case, to start off the game, you will need to flip up a card on the waste pile. And so the only cards that are movable right now are the topmost cards here. So these 7 cards in the bottom row. You can move a card onto the waste pile if it ranks 1 higher or 1 lower than the topmost card on the waste pile. So if there's a 6 on the waste pile, as we have right here, we can move a 5 or a 7 there. If you have no cards in the columns, that can be moved to the waste. And so let's just start out with what I just said, and we'll go through the rules as we go. And so we have a 6. Can we move any of these cards onto the waste pile? Is there a card that ranks 1 higher? Is there a 7 that we can move that is not locked, that is available right now, face up? Nope. Is there a 5 that is available right now? Nope. If you have no cards in the columns that can be moved to the waste pile, you can get a card from the stock and turn it over to the waste. Be aware that you can only move to the stock 1 time. And so we have a 6. Is there a 5 or a 7 anywhere here? In any of the topmost cards in each column? No. Is there a 4 in any of the topmost cards in each column? No. Or is there a 2 in any of the topmost cards in each column? No. Is there a queen or a 10? Yes, there is. There is a queen. So we can move a queen. Then you can move a king. Do we have a queen or an ace? Yes, we do. We have an ace that can be moved. And so you can move a card if it is 1 rank higher or 1 rank lower. The objective being to get rid of all your cards in your columns. You want to have no cards left. If you have 0 cards left, you have won the game. If you're playing against friends, the player to win the game in the lowest number of moves is considered the overall winner because they completed this game of solitaire, of golf solitaire, in the lowest possible moves. What we did was considered turning the corner right here, and that is putting an ace on a king. So in this case, the card ranks are like a full circle. An ace can be placed on a king can be placed on an ace, and so it's a full loop. It does not stop at the king or the ace. You can put a king on an ace and vice versa. So, summing it up, the objective of the game is to get rid of all your cards in the columns by placing a card that is 1 rank higher or 1 rank lower than the card in the waste pile. Once you have 0 cards up here, you have won. If you cannot make any moves right here, then you flip a card from the stock pile onto the waste pile. And that's essentially the essence of the game. So we have a king, so we're going to put a queen there. We don't have a jack or a king. We don't have a card that is one rank higher or one rank lower that is available to us. And so we have a 4. We don't have a 5 or a 3. We don't have a 3 or a ace. We do have an ace. Do we have a 2 or a king here? No. We have a 6. We do have a 7. We have an 8. We have a 9, 8, 10. No, we have an 8. Do we place this 10 or do we place this 8? We'll go with the 8. Then we'll go with that 7. Placing the 8. Placing that 9. If a column goes blank, don't fret. You just don't do anything with it. And so hopefully you can sort of see what's happening here. It's quite a simple game. Let's go with a 10 here. No, there's nothing else we can do. We do not have a jack, one rank higher, or a 9, one rank lower, available to place. A 7. Do we have a 6 or an 8? We do have a 6. We also have a 5. Do we have a 4 or a 6? Not in the topmost cards of the columns. We have an ace. We do have a king. Do we have an ace or a queen? Yes, we do. Do we have a king, one rank higher, or a jack, one rank lower? Yes, we do. Do we have a queen, one rank higher, or a 10, one rank lower? Yes, we do. Do we have an 9, one rank lower, or a jack, one rank higher, currently in the topmost cards of each column? No, we do not. So we flip up a card from the stock pile. A 9. Do we have a 10 or an 8? Nope. 3. We do have a 4. So we're going with 4, 3, 4, 3, 2. And that was the smartest sequence we could do there, as that allowed us to use the maximum number of cards. Do we have a king, one rank higher, or a jack, one rank lower in each of the top most cards of our columns? Yes, we do. We will use it. Do we have a queen, one rank higher, or a 10, one rank lower in the topmost cards of our pile? No, we do not. We flip up a card from the stock pile. Do we have a 10, one rank higher, or an 8, one rank lower? We have an 8, so we use that. Then we have a 7, and we use that. Do we have an 8, one rank higher, or a 6, one rank lower? No, we do not. So we flip up a card from the stock pile. We do have a 5, but now do we have a 4 or a 6? Nope. We lost the game. This is because we could not successfully get to 0 cards up here. We could not successfully remove all the cards from the columns up here into the discard pile before we ran out of cards in the stock pile. Since we flipped up a card on the waste pile, a 10, notice that we do not have... It doesn't make sense to keep playing because we lost the game because we have no cards left in the stock pile. But that is not the only reason. You lose the game when you have no cards left in the stockpile and you cannot make a move on your top card in your waste pile. And so our top card in our waste pile is a 10. We would need one card higher, which is a jack, or one card lower, which is a 9. We do not have a 9 or a jack that is free. And so there are no moves left to make on the waste card. Normally, when there are no moves left to make on the card in the waste pile, you flip up a card from the stock pile. In this case, there are no cards in the stock pile as well, and so the game is considered lost. Some individuals like to play multiple rounds, adding up the number of cards they have. So they'd say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. If you're playing in real life, you can do this. And so they'd say, hey, I have 7 cards left. My score right now is 7. And they play 9 rounds, like you play in golf, and they try to keep their score under 36. So in this case, since we have 7 cards, we would have a score of 7 if we were playing 9 rounds. However, we aren't playing 9 rounds, we are just playing 1 round, and so we consider this a loss. However, if you were to play 9 rounds, you would lose if after 9 rounds your score is not under 36, which is considered the par score in golf. And so a score is kept by adding 1 point for any cards that remain in the columns after a round, or if you win a round, by subtracting points from how many cards are left in the stock deck. And so if I successfully got all these cards in the waste deck and I had 10 cards left in the stock deck, I would subtract 10 points from my score because I finished the game in 10 moves earlier than what was needed. And so you can play 9 rounds trying to stay under the score of 36. If you get over 36, you have lost. If you are under 36, you have won. Or you can simply play 1 round as such because it is quicker and just see if you got all the cards in the waste pile, you won. If you have cards left in the columns, you have lost. What's the objective once again? To get all the cards from the columns into the waste pile by playing a card that is 1 rank higher or 1 rank lower. And if you cannot make any move on the card in the waste pile, you draw a card from the stock pile. That wraps up how to play Golf Solitaire. It's a very simple game. And thank you.